Mikey is a 16-year-old mule that we just received from New Mexico. He has always been loaded in a stock trailer, and when we tried to load him several times before this, he would go in, but he wouldn't stay in the 2-horse. So we are retraining today. So first steps are we're going to train him to go forward. I have to get Mikey's trust and love, which takes a while, and we've only known him a week. So I'm just tapping him on the bottom, and I want him to go forward. You know, when he decides to not want to sometime, we're not going to have what we need. There you go. So I was just discussing with Ron that, yeah, he'll go in, but we don't want him to just go in. We want him to go in and stay in and have the cues to go forward and backward and to stop backing up. So we have to start way back at the very beginning where no one else taught him before. And we're also working against that if he didn't go in, you know, somewhere down the line, someone has been just stuffing him in there, and if he goes backwards, he gets a large whap on his mule butt. So he's got to be retrained, and the retraining that I'm doing is a release training called behavior modification, and it would be a good idea to look up behavior modification on YouTube, and B.F. Skinner, and preferably the one with the pigeons is one of the best ones. So right now, we're just going forward and backward and having him move forward when I touch him. And then he knows that he gets released and petted. And as soon as I bring him forward, I will back him up. I do not want to turn him around. I don't want him going forward, but we're going to back up. So the whole process right now, outside the trailer, is actually loading in the trailer. Going up, standing, and then moving back. You can chew it. There you go. People. We're good peeps. You're lucky. Yeah, you're very lucky. Whoa. There. Right there. You got off. So right here he backs up. After I asked him before, he backed up, and I hadn't asked him, so I had him go forward and stand. So that's how we're going to get him to stand in the trailer, is going forward, stop, and stand. If you can't stop and stand right here, he's definitely not going to stop and stand in the trailer. And we won't have any recourse to make him go forward again. You can't see it because I got the camera too high, but this is a ramp load trailer, which I prefer not to load in ramp loads, just because they tend to go off the side of them and everything, and I've had my feet stepped on. So a non-ramp is easier. And that's another thing that this mule is fighting. He's never had a ramp to get in something. I'm sure he's jumped into a foot-high stock trailer. So he's just totally relearning, and it takes time. So anytime they go off to the side like he did there with his rump, I'll keep tapping. I'm giving him a reward right now, but I'm going to keep tapping when he steps up on the ramp, because what's happening is that's an avoidance tactic by him. He's going to take his rump away from me and not go in the trailer. So if they do that and they take the rump away from you, continue to tap until they straighten out and give you a step forward. Otherwise, don't release if their rump goes away, because then you're rewarding them for their rump going away, and we want him not to do that. Forward and back, and this is very common. They'll go forward and back and forward and back. I call it the yo-yo. If he backs up and I don't ask him, I'm going to ask him to go forward at this point. And I'm just very consistent. Do not continue tapping if they stop their motion and don't back up. And don't continue tapping when they're moving forward. Always release your tapping when they stop for a second and when they move forward. So at this point, Mikey's just kind of stepping forward, going back, stepping forward, going back. So we're at a new spot where he's actually in the trailer, and he's doing the same yo-yo that he was doing outside of the trailer. So I'm just really super consistent to say, I really don't care if you go all the way in. Please just stand.
Just one-sided, because he wants to turn around.
So at this point, I've got him to stand, and I've discussed with Ron that he wants to turn around. He's been in a large stock trailer. This is very confining for him. So I want him to be comfortable just standing, looking around, getting to know the trailer. But I have to have control over forward and back, because once he gets in, and he won't stay in, I have to have that forward button. So that's what we're working on here. It takes a lot of patience and a ton of time. Every time I've loaded a horse, it takes almost exactly to the T 45 minutes. This mule took 35 minutes. Mules take less time if you do it right.
So even though he's gone into trailers, I'm sure he's just been like, first, you know? Mm-hmm.
So remember, every time you are ready to back out, make sure that there's a good push to back out or a good cue so that he knows that you're backing out.
I've never been on a ramp before.
I don't think you've ever been on a ramp before. Good boy. Good boy.
So every time I do a turnaround, I walk off, and at some point when he really starts doing well, I take about 30 seconds. I walk him down the road a ways, and I come back. So a big release is good, and again, that's the B.F. Skinner stuff. About this time, this is when people are like, you know, this nothing's happening here. He's at the same point you were. And to the untrained eye, yes, it looks like he is, because he's at the same point where we started, but I have a lot more control over him, and he understands that I'm trying to get him to go in with the chute cue. Now, there's always a point, like this one right here, that they start to say, hey, let me try and see if I can run away from you or pull on the rope. Let me see if I can get by you. Okay, and some horses get pretty nasty. They rear, they run off, they run over you, they run the other way. And I do have a chain over his nose. He is a 16 one-hand mule. And at this point, I'm kind of just getting a little bit more assertive, saying, no, you know the answer now. Go up and stand.
Good. Good. Yeah. That's it. That's it. He won't even eat treats now.
No.
That's it. Okay, now back. Good. Hoo-wee.
At this point, many people are going, oh my God, he's not even in. This isn't working. Just whap him and get him in the trailer. And well, that's been done many, many times. And I could probably get him in the trailer like that. But we're going to own this mule for a long time. So we're doing it right. And we're taking our time. You keep watching, he's going to walk in pretty soon. And he's going to be quiet. And I'm going to have control over how far he goes in and how far he goes back.
Good job, Mikey. Ho. Ho. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Back up. Good. Good. That's it. Nice job. Good boy. Nice job. That's it. That's all we want right there. It's okay. It's all right. Back. 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 Good. Back. Back.
So he came out really nicely, and then he didn't. He wanted to pull me away and to the pens and wanted to leave. So I pulled him towards me and made him back up. And then we walked off on my accord. You can see now he's walking in pretty nicely, and he's staying pretty quiet. And I have the control over him going forward and backward now. I can send him back in over and over. I have the control. It's not getting crazy. It's just repetitive. If the answer is the easy thing, then he's going to get it. But you have to stay consistent. We're working against a lot of things that have happened to him
Up when I reach out to pet him.
in a very confining space in his brain. At this point, I take another long release and we walk down the driveway a ways. This is super important. This mule is really quiet. He hasn't done anything really bad. He's trying to learn. He's doing everything right. So when we come back, he's even more quiet than he is. He's still looking away from the trailer and he would rather go to the corrals. But now he knows it's really not that bad. They're not beating me while I'm at the trailer. And I think I'll walk in. Mikey is Ron's mule, and they've done some good bonding. So as Mikey goes all the way in, he gets treats from Ron and gets scratches and a total release. Nothing is being asked of him, and just to stand and be quiet. That's all we want right now.
He's no dummy. Hey. Go. Good boy. Nice job, Mike. Good job, Mike. Good job, Mike. back, back, back. Yeah, that was excellent. Good job, Mike. Good boy, Mikey. Yeah, that was so good. That was so good. What a good boy. What a good boy. Yeah. That was easy, huh?
So lots of loving, and the stoic mule inside knows he did a good job, and we're gonna load him up one more time. And it's all quiet. We just keep loading and loading. This is where people get, they don't understand. Why are you taking him out? He's in. Why are you taking him out? He's in. Well, because there's another step. And the hard step is to be able to shut the back end without them reacting to the noises of the trailer. To be able to step behind them and have the time to close them in. So this is what we're working on next.
He's all, I'm all treat oriented until I'm not.
Yeah.
What a good mule, huh? Go pick him up, huh? That's a good.
Good boy.
That a boy.
Good.
That a boy. Good job. Good job. Okay, now back, back. Good.
So now I've stepped it up a notch, and
Most of it, I'm just gonna.
he's got to stay in there.
Stuff.
If he comes back out, you'll notice I tell him to stay in this next time, and he does. So I put my button on that says, don't come backward.
Hey. Good boy.
Just like with all the knowledge, it has to be pushed.
Right. Come here,
And
all
because I
right,
get
boy.
after him,
No,
and he knows it,
no.
he says, okay, I'm sorry.
That's all
And I
right.
go back
Okay,
in
now back.
and stay.
Back. Back.
For a second, and then he comes back out. Still be patient, though. You could undo everything that you've done
It's
from
that
this
same
point.
thing of when do I go? When do I have to go? And he's
We're building.
nobody's
It's
told
taken
him
years and years
exactly
and
when,
years
so
for
he's
him
trying
to
just
not
do
be
it
trusting.
himself. And he's got to give us
At this
enough
point, I'm
time
kind of
to
rearranging the butt bar,
give us
making
enough
sure
time
that
to
I can
latch
get it
that
closed
back.
and whatnot. He's getting to the point now that I know that he can get to this stage pretty quickly when we load him
He goes
where
in
we're
now.
going, and so I am going to shut the butt bar
Just out.
and
Oh.
lock him in pretty soon. Usually I don't that fast. He's obviously been trailered. It's not like he's a new horse that hasn't ever been trailered.
Oh.
But you have to be careful. It is very dangerous at this point if they're coming back out. Normally I would spend some more time and made sure that he's not going to come out. But I know he's my mule. I'm going to be able to
He's feeling the
spend
the
more
butt
time
bar
on him.
Yeah.
and coming back. Oh.
And I'm just petting him
Oh.
so that he gets the pressure on his buns and he knows that he doesn't have to come out. Because a lot of times they feel something and they hear it and they think they're supposed to come out. So I just want him to stay there.
Oh.
I really want to stay out of the way of that butt bar. They can really launch
Okay, latching.
that butt bar to your
With the,
face. So
chain?
Ron has grabbed the rope and is tying him up, and we're going to go ahead and go to our other destination, which is a training spot anyway, and we're going to proceed to train him there.
Exercise him and then we'll have to work on him.
But that is the basics
over there.
of getting them to shoot load, and I will send out another
I
video.
can
soon.
round off and left my phone here.